Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Hey, Gabe. Good, buddy. Excited for tonight's show, man. Hey, everybody.
What's up, everybody? People are starting to roll in.
Yeah.
We got Jose already commenting on here. Another beautiful Saturday evening hanging out with the gang.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Sean Stone, what's up, Sean? Yeah, 5 days of celebration. Oh man.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy.
Armando, what's up? Johnny, what's up?
Gary.
Um, and so yeah, what's been going on with you, Michael?
I just a lot of things, man. Getting ready, prepped out for celebration. Went shopping today. Get me a new pair of shoes and all kinds of stuff. And hey, Jens is on board.
Yeah,
Jens from Germany is visiting here in Texas and my state, and
yeah, right. He's
he's been hanging out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey,
nice.
but yeah, things are good, buddy. Thanks for asking. We just got a lot of stuff rolling with the restaurant, and we're getting ready
Yeah,
to really start cranking. So
that's awesome, man.
yeah, man.
And yeah, and again, Star Wars Celebration coming up real quick, man. It's
Yeah,
everyone's kind of getting all their ducks in a row. I have a bunch of just boxes here of stuff that I'm like I cannot forget to take. Like it needs to be in here. Um,
yeah. What's up with all those boxes I saw on the front of your house today, man? That was crazy.
Ooh, yeah, that was a whole thing. Yeah, so I finally told my wife, I was like, look, I'm gonna clear out the garage because the garage is just full of gigantic boxes. Obviously, for some of this stuff, like the boxes are huge, right?
Yep,
I
yep.
don't throw them away. Um, so literally two whole side, actually three whole sides of my garage filled it up. So we got one of those little storage units that they drop off at your, your porch or your driveway, and you just fill it up. Man, that was like, and I need to order another one. So now it's gonna have to be two of them because just the boxes alone are huge, man.
You're
You know?
just gonna keep all that, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm one of those collectors that likes everything complete, and
Yeah, I
I
understand.
keep you everything, even the Regal robot stuff that comes in just basic boxes.
You
Like
still
I'll
keep.
still keep those. So
I get rid of like 90% of everything. It's crazy.
I know, and that's smart, man. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, with
You look at it two ways. If you keep all your boxes and you sell it, you can get a little bit more money for it. But if you're taking your boxes and you're putting them in storage and paying monthly,
I
well,
know
you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know, man.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at least for now, you know what I mean. Yeah, we'll see. We'll try it out for a year or so and see how that works. Gonna work on that garage to kind of open it up. It's
That'll
more
be
of a
really
work
cool.
area.
Hey, so Star Wars Addict, he's coming to visit here, and he'll be here within a little less than 30 days. I look forward to meeting up
Oh,
with him.
nice. Jeff's gonna swing by.
Yeah,
Nice.
coming. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
That's really cool.
treat him to one of my specialties, my fillets, bacon wrap.
Nice. I know, man. And
Yeah,
yeah, so again, Star Wars Celebration, 5 days, guys. It's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm excited to see everybody. Just kind of say what's up to everybody and hang out. That's gonna be really cool.
it
Can't
really
wait.
is. It's finally get to see a lot of people, our faithful followers, and to you viewers out there, the ones that have reached out and actually purchased Collection Wars shirts off of the site that Gabe put together.
No.
Thank you guys for your support for the channel and purchasing those shirts. I don't know where we're at on that stuff right now, but it means a lot. I know a lot of you guys have sent me
No.
pictures of you guys in the shirts and whatnot, and it means a lot that you guys are
Yeah.
y'all are invested. You know.
And we'll post them back up. We just got to find a better place
Yeah.
to order them. So we'll put them
Yes.
back up.
Yeah. Strike gold.
But
Thank you guys.
tonight we got a very special guest, and I cannot wait. I mean, I obviously as collectors, we've seen his work all around all the collector groups, and it's just mind-boggling. Like mind-boggling when you see some of the stuff that's just like so realistic. And I mean, obviously we'll have him kind of tell you everything, but yeah. Without further ado, let's bring it on,
Yeah, that'd be good. I look forward to.
Jordu. Let's. Hey, Jordu, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Thank you for jumping on and making some time to hang out with us.
Of course, sure.
Finally, right?
Yeah.
I know you were out of the country and whatnot, but thanks for your time and coming on the channel. And
Of
I look
course.
forward to going over your history in this industry and just
I'm
talking.
curious, does the camera put on 50 pounds? Because Jesus.
It's the angles. You got to work with the angles, right? You got to put.
That's what I do. I work with the angles. That's funny.
There you go. But
It's
yeah,
hilarious. Gabe, he looks just like my banker, Jesse Baza. Man, you look like his twin. It's hilarious. I'm going to make sure he watches this show just so he can see his twin brother.
yeah, yeah. Pete says Jordu's my Philly brother, one of the best guys I've met in the 40 years of collecting.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Gabe?
Pete, nah.
Yeah, Big Cat
Yeah, Pete Roberts and I met Pete, Jesus, a long time ago, at least 35 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And Pete and I didn't realize it, but I think Pete and I were kind of in competition for buying the masks that we saw. I mean, we both have a huge fascination with latex monster masks.
Yeah.
He's been on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's about the nicest guy. And
Yes.
Pete and I were particularly obsessed with masks from Distortions Unlimited. Pete has a huge collection of Don Post masks and Distortions Unlimited. And, I came to find out that, sometimes I would go to my local costume shop and a mask that I really wanted would be gone. And I found out Pete bought it, and so, we both grew up in Philadelphia together and not together, but we both grew up in Philadelphia at the same time.
There you go.
Yeah.
And, Pete's a mensch, man. He's the real deal, good guy,
Yes, he is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Pete. Well, I mean, speaking of kind of growing up, Jordu, tell us about that. Tell us about, were you as a child, like what inspired you? What kind of got you into films and,
Well, it started primarily because when I was very, very little, like 4 or 5 years old, my mother would read me Greek mythology stories and ancient Egyptian myths and stuff like that. And that fired my imagination. And then I remember at some point, she mentioned liking old Godzilla movies and old Hammer movies. She mentioned two people I'd never heard of because I was 5. She said, "Oh, I like old Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing movies." And I was like, "Wow, who are they?" And so eventually I saw these things, and probably the earliest movie I can remember seeing that really started affecting me was a terrible low-budget film that was made in 1959, but it wasn't released until 61. It was called The Brain That Wouldn't Die. It's terrible, but it was one of the most horrendously gory movies ever made at the time. Even now when they show it, it's edited very heavily, but the original way it was shown, and back in the 70s, I mean, no one gave a shit. They just showed the violence, and there's a scene where a guy gets his arm ripped off, and there's a scene where a woman is beheaded, and there's a scene where a monster chews out a chunk from a guy's neck and spits it on the ground, and you see a close-up of the neck meat. It's just horrible.
Yeah, that was unheard of back then.
Yeah, I was traumatized, but I remember asking my dad to make me a fake arm so I could sort of play out the scene over and over. That was my coping mechanism, I think, as a kid, was to kind of try to control the thing that I was afraid of. And I think that that's sort of what led me to make monsters, and then a little later, when I was about 7 or 8, a family friend took me to see The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Yes. And that just knocked me out. I mean, I just could not get over the monsters in that movie, especially that Cyclops. I was just obsessed. And I found out that the guy who'd done those illusions was a guy named Ray Harryhausen, and I became obsessed with him and his work. And of course, I'm 54 now. I'm going to be 55 in about 3 weeks. I was the perfect age in 1977. I remember being outside. I was already obsessed with science fiction and monsters, and all my schoolmates knew it. And there was a girl named Lisa, who I'm still friends with now, and I think she still lives in Philadelphia. But Lisa and I remember we were swinging on the swings during, recess or something, and she said, "Jordy, you have to see this new movie called Star Wars. It's everything you love." There's a scene where people go into this bar and there are all these weird creatures, and I was just like, "Oh my God, I have to see this thing." So I begged and begged, and my parents finally took me after school let out. And I remember it was Star Wars is such a strange phenomenon from the way it was initially perceived to the way it's perceived now. Now basically we lived, I assume you guys are around my age, somewhere in there, but
I'm 52. Yep.
We lived through a film release that was something like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the sense of its cultural impact.
Yeah.
The idea of a witch with a pointy black hat like that came from The Wizard of Oz. It was not really around in the public consciousness of that being a witch until The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
So that's how impactful that is. When you think of a witch, you think of pointy hat and a big long nose and green face. All Wizard of Oz. So I remember talking to a family friend before I saw Star Wars, and this guy, I don't think he was too bright, but he said, "I don't know if you're going to like it, Jordy. It's kind of an adult film." Star Wars, an adult film? Like it was fucking Last Tango in Paris or something. No, that's an adult film. Star Wars is made for me. I'm 10,
That's right.
So I remember seeing it and just being like, the world was on fire for this film. And what was so interesting is that instantaneously, it seemed like right away, R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, these names were like as famous as anything, and no other film that I'd ever been witness to was like that. Everyone knew about Jaws and everyone knew about The Exorcist, but the characters in them were not these
it's like icons,
household names,
Yeah.
It was an amazing time to live through, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And then the 70s gave way to the 80s, and that is where I really started getting serious about the idea of making monsters and fantasy characters as a career.
Yeah.
I think I lived through the greatest time in special effects in history, in fantasy cinema, to be honest.
Yeah.
Beginning with Star Wars. Then in 79, 78, you had Superman and
Close Encounters.
Close Encounters actually came out in 77, believe it or not. It came out at the tail end of 77, Christmas. And even before that, in 76, you had the remake of King Kong, and before that, then there was Jaws, and and then 79 hit, and you had Dawn of the Dead, Alien. There was a magazine cover, a cover of Newsweek that had a close-up of a woman kind of going real close.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at it, said Sigourney Weaver in Alien. And I remember thinking, that is a weird name. Who is what? Sigourney. And it's still kind of a weird name to me. And I've worked with her. But I begged my parents to let me see Alien, and they let me see Alien. I begged my parents to let me get a subscription to Fangoria. My mother didn't want me to because it was full of violence, but I said, Mom, this is what I want to do for a living. She's like, all right. Um,
That's awesome.
so I was very lucky, you know, and I lived through what I think is the greatest year in fantasy film history, 1982. In 1982, you had E.T., The Thing, Poltergeist, Creepshow, The Dark Crystal, Conan, The Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner, Extra. I mean, just Sword and the Sorcerer, the Road Warrior. I mean, you had so many amazing films in just that 1 year. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
The Dark Crystal, Poltergeist, E.T., and Blade Runner all this, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
I just got to say real quick, Gabe.
Yeah.
We are, to the viewers, are getting ready to embark on a badass journey with Jordu on some really cool shit. I just got to tell you right now, just to what he's saying right now, I am living in his body, dude. It's crazy. Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jordu. I'm really excited.
That's okay.
It's really cool. Go ahead.
But I mean, so that and then before that, in 1980 had The Empire Strikes Back, which took it not only took Star Wars to another level. I personally think it's the best of every single Star Wars film ever made. I love the first one because it started it all.
Yeah.
But Empire Strikes Back, forget it. It took it to a level of spirituality and depth and adult. Now that is a more adult film.
Yeah.
That is a more adult film. That deals with all kinds of father-son angst and you know, not wanting to know certain things about your life, and you know, Yoda. I mean, the greatest line in fantasy movie history is in that. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Can you possibly have a more poetic and beautiful line in a film?
I thought it was going to be do or do not. I didn't think of that one at all.
No, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. I mean, that it brings you to tears. It's so beautiful. I mean, the script, this level of special effects work that they'd reached at ILM, the creature design work, the tauntauns, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just great year after great year. American Werewolf in London came out the next year. Yeah. I think Dragon Slayer came out in 1981. The Howling. Cat People also came out in 82. And then 83, of course, had Return of the Jedi. And all kinds of other. I mean, the 80s were just jam-packed full of incredible cinema.
Yeah.
Especially the early 80s. Although by the time you got to the late 80s, you had Predator, you had The Fly, you had Aliens, you had RoboCop, Legend. You had so many visually feastful films.
Batman.
I mean, Batman came out in 89, I think.
That was way later.
I didn't like Batman.
You didn't like Batman?
I think I was getting a little too old for it at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still don't think Batman has been done 100% right. Still.
No.
I mean, I'm not a huge comics fan. I'm not a big Batman fan, but I know from what I've seen and read what Batman should feel like, and it's not a Tim Burton thing. It's not, I mean, that Joker, not the movie Joker, but the Joker that Heath Ledger played, I don't think you could possibly do better than that. He captured the perfect mix of insane and funny and evil and totally in love with the concept of chaos and anarchy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a flawless performance. I don't think anyone will ever top it. But enough of that. The point is that growing up in that era was so exciting to me. And then the digital revolution happened in 1993 when Jurassic Park came along. And and I was very fortunate to be the very last of the kind of old school guys
Mhm.
to come out. The last gasp of the 80s. I came out in 89, and I worked on The Bride of Reanimator, which is a piece of junk. I worked on Predator 2, which I didn't care for. I worked on Edward Scissorhands, and
Man.
then I worked for Rick Baker on Men in Black, and I worked briefly on Batman Returns, actually,
Hmm.
which I think I liked more than the original film.
Yeah.
I was puppeteering those penguin puppets that Stan Winston built.
Oh,
So cool, man.
yeah.
So I quit because I hated the conditions that they had us operating under, but yeah, I mean, it's been a thrilling.
Yeah. And Jordu, how did you kind of get into the industry? So obviously you're a big fan, as at what age did you actually start kind of creating stuff and sculpting, and how did that lead you in?
Well,
Like for what
I was always playing with clay from the time I was very little. Drawing and playing with clay were my favorite things in the world. And my mom and dad always provided me with plenty of materials, which was great. When I was 13 or 14, and I saw An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, and I saw those damn Distortions Unlimited masks, I was like, I have to know. I have to know how to do this. I have to.
Yeah.
So I think it was at that point when I was about 13 or 14, I stopped playing with clay and started sculpting.
Mhm.
I got more into using tools and started really studying the work of Rick Baker and Rob Bottin and Dick Smith and Tom Berman, all these Stan Winston, all these guys, and trying my best to emulate it.
Mhm.
And I mean, if you'd seen my early work, you never would have thought I'd be any good at it. But what's interesting about going back to Pete for a second,
Yeah.
it's interesting that Pete should have such a fascination with this stuff. I've asked him this before. I said, why didn't you ever want to try this stuff yourself? He's like, Jordan, dude, that's not really my thing. I don't really like doing that. It's not really, I don't really want to make masks. I was like, okay, well, for me, it was just, I couldn't live without making stuff, and wanting to make masks. And so I kept trying to find out all the information I could about latex masks. It started with that. And I did maquettes and stuff like that out of clay, but masks were my real obsession. And I gathered a little bit of information from a book I found in high school. I think it was in Corson's Stage Makeup. And they talked briefly about how to make molds and stuff. So I kind of started to get a basic rudimentary idea of how it was done. And I just did trial and error, trying to make sculptures and then a mold off of it. And eventually I figured it out.
Nice.
By the time I was 16 or so, I started selling masks to the very stores that I had been buying from 2 years before.
Wow.
And by the time I was 17, I was getting quite professional and, well, more professional. And I put an ad in Fangoria for my little shitty catalog of masks. And
So cool.
I started selling masks out of my basement. And then when I was 20, I went to a that's not true. Nobody wants to.
Yes, it is, by the way. It is.
But I started going mass production. Like I went to a Halloween trade show in Chicago and I got a whole bunch of orders. And me and my girlfriend at the time were just making masks out of my basement. And photos of those masks somehow, some way, made it out to California. And this guy named Screaming Mad George, who was an effects artist in the late 80s and 90s, got in touch and said, you know, he was a Japanese guy. He's like, Jordu, I want to come out to LA. You make a mask. So, and, you know, I was like, oh my God, it's my big break. So I went and I worked on Bride of Reanimator for him. And with every movie I worked on, I learned a little more. And I think going to Rick Baker's was a big deal for me because he was one of my childhood heroes. And I learned so much there. I learned so much about painting and sculpting. And I think my work increased 10 times after going there.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you went to work for Rick Baker.
Yeah.
And how long were you working with Rick? I mean, Tom Spina like worships Rick Baker. He's a
most effects people do, you know, because Rick was at the top of his game when we were kids, you know.
Yeah.
The work of the special effects quality has gotten so advanced now that there are tons of effect shops doing Rick Baker level work now.
Yeah.
But Rick was always sort of like the pinnacle. And I was called in to interview with Rick in, I think, 94 or 5. And I showed him my portfolio and he hired me on the spot. And he said, okay, now listen, I'm getting ready to go to the Hamptons to meet with Steven Spielberg and Barry Sonnenfeld about this project Men in Black. I want you to come with me. And I was like, what? You know, and he's like, yeah, I want you to maybe do some drawings while we're there, while we're talking about this movie. And I was like, you know, so sure enough, a limo picks me up a few days later and we went to the airport and Rick and I flew first class to, you know, I mean, it was an amazing dream. And we hung out and talked. We were put up in this huge mansion that I guess must have been like a summer, like a, what do you call it when you?
Yeah, like a vacation home.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was Spielberg's place?
No. This was a separate home in the Hamptons that was just like this big, with a big wraparound porch and everything. And we hung out and talked till late in the night, and then we went to see Spielberg in the morning. Because I remember him saying to me, "Now, Jordu, keep your mouth shut, because this is the first time I've talked directly to Spielberg since the debacle of Night Skies." And I knew what that meant. Night Skies was the film that Steven Spielberg was going to make in 1982 or 81. And Rick had done some elaborate creature work and some incredible animatronics. And then Spielberg went halfway around the world to shoot Raiders of the Lost Ark. And while he was there, he was working with a woman named Melissa Matheson, who was a writer. And he said, yeah, my next movie is going to be this thing called Night Skies. It's about these evil aliens that invade a small town. And this one alien is kind of not really with what they're doing. He doesn't really think what they're doing is right. And he befriends a small boy. Melissa Madison heard that and she said, that's your story. That's your movie. The small boy and the alien. Let me write a draft. She wrote E.T. It was the first draft. Spielberg said, that's the movie. He came back to LA and he told Rick this news, and Rick was like furious. And there was this big falling out. So according to Rick at the time, he said he hadn't talked to him, although they had had some dealings. They must have had some dealings because Amblin produced Gremlins 2, which Rick did in 89. So,
yeah.
But I just sat there quietly while he and Barry Sonnenfeld, Graham Place, and Rick talked about this movie. And I mean, it was 5 people, including me,
Wow.
sitting in Spielberg's huge, beautiful home. I mean, a week before I was unemployed. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in Steven Spielberg's house. See, this is one of the things I think, I can't stand Hollywood. I don't like the movies getting made anymore. I don't like the culture. I mostly don't like the people.
Yeah.
But the thing about Hollywood that keeps you stuck in a way, or that keeps you addicted, is the fact that when the phone rings, you never know who's on the other end. I remember the phone rang at my old studio when I had my old studio, and it was James Cameron,
Wow.
And so it was like, what do you do, when you've got that kind of potential, those possibilities
Right.
calling you up out of the blue? You can't leave that, So anyway, there you go. That's how I got up to LA.
That's all you got, huh? That's all you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, buddy.
That's just it, man. That's awesome. I mean, it's just so crazy, to hear that. I mean, and again, I think it goes to show, right? Your passion and everything that you're really focused on just ended up being your way in, and I mean that alone is inspiring.
I don't know if I'm actually allowed to talk about it in depth, but I did do something for one of these upcoming Star Wars shows. I did some test paint jobs for somebody on a very well-known character. I don't think I should get specific about it right now.
Yeah.
No. But that's awesome. Well, actually, I wanted to pull up your website really quick and just kind of just pick your brain on a couple of things. You have a section on your website here, right, where you kind of list some of the films you've worked on. And I mean, obviously right now the big movie right now is Avatar, right? Because they're redoing it. They're doing the next part. It's coming out soon. And you worked on Avatar.
I did. A lot.
Yeah. So can you just kind of just give us a little, what was that like?
Well, I mean, it was kind of a stop-start situation. Like I was one of the very few artists. There were only like 4 of us initially who were called in to design stuff for the picture. And I right away, I told Cameron, I'm really, really good at designing in the clay. Please let me. And he's like, no, I don't want any sculpture. It's too soon. And I was like, but that's how I do what I do best, And he's like, no. Yeah. So I was doing drawings, which I was not happy doing. And they actually cut me loose. They cut me loose because I wasn't producing great drawings like these other guys were really good. Like, what's his name was on that? Wayne Barlow, who's like a very well-known alien designer. And he was producing beautiful drawings. And, I just felt like this movie's not for me. If I can't sculpt the stuff, I can't really do impressive work.
Yeah.
So they cut me loose, and I was like, okay, you win some, you lose some. And then a couple months later, like I said, Jim called me personally and said, yeah, I think I'd like to see what you could do in clay. So I was like, awesome. So I went back, and that's the maquette of Neytiri that I did. And he was having trouble with the digital guys that they couldn't seem to visualize what he wanted of these characters. So I sat down and I did this maquette of Neytiri. And I remember he came down to my office and he went, that's her. Don't touch anything. That's her. That's her. Stop. Don't do anything. And he said something like, "You're incapable of sculpting something without character." And I remember thinking, wow, that's a real feather in my cap, because he's notoriously difficult to please. And but anyway, I did this maquette, and from there on, I was kind of cemented in, and I worked on the film for 2 years.
Wow.
And I mean, this is only a fraction of the stuff I did for Avatar. I mean, I did dozens and dozens of maquettes, creatures, the Na'vi, all kinds of stuff, anatomical studies of their hands and close-ups of their faces.
That's amazing.
And that was a long, long, long project.
Man.
And it paid very well, and I was really pleased with it. And
that's crazy, beautiful art.
Okay.
Hey, Gabe, can you put us on the big screen just for a second? Just for a sec. I just want to, I've had a lot of our viewers blowing me up right now, and I just got a text from Sierra. I'm sure you know Colin Cantwell, Jordu, who he was the innovator of kit bash modeling early on, and was one of George Lucas's first employees. And we had his sidekick who has taken care of Colin for quite some time, and she was actually on our show a month ago, and just got the word that Colin passed away today. So our thoughts and prayers are out to Sierra. Sarah, thanks for taking the time to let me know. And I've got goosebumps, and I'm so sorry. But the guy was, 90 years old, and he's not going to be remembered. He's definitely a pioneer in the modeling business. And thank you for everything that you did for us, Colin. And
his contribution is significant.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry to take anything away from you, Jordu.
No, it's quite all right.
And for all you viewers that have been blowing my phone up as well, thank you for letting me know as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Cowell. Yeah, he did some of the original kind of designs, right? Before Ralph McQuarrie kind of got involved.
You're familiar with the Skyhopper that Luke's playing with?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's Colin. And I'm not going to say anything that I know anything, but can't wait till Obi-Wan comes out next week. Skyhopper. I'm not saying anything, but
yeah, it's cool.
It's going to be pretty cool. So,
man.
So when we were talking, Jordu, back on the Avatar and these creatures, you actually were hired on, and you said it was quite a long deal. So I was asking, were you working at a studio, but you were actually working at Cameron's house? Is that right?
For the first go round, yeah. We were working out of Cameron's kitchen.
Wow.
It was called the lower house. There was his house here on the hill, and then there was a house a little lower on the mountain. That was called the lower house. And I mean, when I say James Cameron's kitchen, the kitchen was bigger than the house I live in. So, we were just drawing and stuff like that in there. And then when I came back, we were working at Lightstorm Entertainment in Santa Monica, which is his company. So I had an office there. It was much more kind of official, and there were front desks and phones ringing and stuff. So
that's great. So you were literally working with. Is Cameron kind of one of the directors that you've worked the closest with, like just in as far as design and the whole...
I would say, yeah, he's the director I worked the closest with. I also worked with a director named Andy Machete, who directed It.
Yeah.
And a few other movies that I'm not. But I initially worked on the first incarnation of The Mummy with him, not the first incarnation, which was with Rachel Weisz and what's his name, but No, this was the one that eventually became the Tom Cruise debacle.
Oh,
But I was working fairly closely with him. But I mean, I saw Jim regularly on Avatar, and he would give direct feedback. So yeah, it was a very close working relationship, I would certainly say.
Did he reach out to you on the new Avatar stuff that's going on?
He did not.
So look, I know he's been shooting it out of the country.
Well, yeah,
right?
it's all down in New Zealand, so I think.
Yep.
But I think some of the artists, I mean, he might not have liked me personally. I don't know what the reason is. It doesn't matter. I mean, I would not have wanted to relocate to New Zealand anyway.
Yeah.
But although I have been there, and I love the guys at Weta and everything. But yeah, I mean, they are shooting it very far away.
Yeah.
And they've got evidently some very competent people working on it. Quite a few of us weren't asked back. So
yeah.
Who knows why or what's going on there, but
yeah, he shot 2 and 3, right? That's signed back to back 2 and 3, I think.
I don't know anything about it. I mean, I haven't been in that sphere.
They just released a trailer for it, Avatar.
I saw, World of Water or whatever the hell.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jordu, I mean, obviously, Avatar is a big one, but us, super sci-fi, geeks. I mean, obviously, like I'm going through some of your work, and I mean, again, just like Predator, Aliens versus Predator. I mean, those films. I mean, if you like Star Wars, and if you like, obviously, it's like almost hand in hand, right? At this point, what was your favorite kind of Predator film that you worked on?
Oh God. I don't know if you. I think I have to plead the fifth because.
Yeah. It's all right.
But I mean, I didn't really think Predator was that great. I mean, I remember seeing in the theater in '87 or whatever, and I was kind of like, eh. Yeah. I mean, the monster was cool, but it was kind of stupid to me. I didn't like it, and I thought Predator 2 was dumb, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't know. It's so silly now. The whole thing. I was just thinking about this in the drive to my studio today.
Mm-hmm.
That Alien has become this franchise, which is really kind of silly now. And the first movie, Alien, is not silly at all. It's talk about adult film.
Yeah.
That movie is so great and so tense, that the fact that it's become this kind of silly jokey thing where they're like fighting predators and I don't know, it's just
it felt wrong. So what did you still like? Obviously you're working on some of these where you're just like, man, let me try to just get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked on every Predator sequel, every one.
Yeah.
Although
I think they're coming out with another one that I didn't have anything to do with them, thank God. But
you know what I love so much about through the since we actually got Collection Wars started, Jordu, we've been blessed enough to have a lot of really kick-ass industry guests, such as yourself, Don Post, and some others. And it's just funny how you guys are about that stuff. I love how real you guys are. It's like,
when you've been doing this stuff for a long time, you really see behind the curtain, as it were, and you realize how ridiculous this profession is. And I mean, it's absurd that anyone pays me to make monsters. Like, what a specific little niche of the world.
Yeah.
But
you're
when you work in Hollywood, especially, you see how tawdry and cheap and stupid it is, because I mean, just on Avatar alone,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to imagine how much money got wasted. How much money got wasted with us twiddling our thumbs for weeks, waiting for Jim to come down from the ivory tower and look at what we'd done.
Mm-hmm.
Things that weren't used, this and that. I mean, I would guess that about $10 million at least was completely wasted. Alien was made for $10 million. An American Werewolf from London was made for $10 million.
Yeah.
Star Wars was made for
$12
$10 million.
Yeah.
So try to imagine the kind of money they're wasting on these Marvel movies. And I mean, it's money that could feed a small third world country, and you're just like, God, what?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's just part of it. It's the fact that you can do a huge amount of work and it just gets dismissed out of hand by some arrogant jerk.
Yeah.
As my work was for the movie Predator, The Predator.
Yeah.
That director was a jerk, and he didn't care at all
Yeah.
about all the hard work that me and my crew had done. He just dismissed it. I don't even know if he looked at it. And then Fox ripped me off for money. They owed me money on a contract, and they refused to pay it. And my agent at the time went to bat for me and said, hey, this contract says you owe Mr. Schell $5,000 more. That's nothing to Fox. It's everything to a small company like me. And they just said, no, we're not going to pay it.
Jordu, do you need some representation? Because if you do, I've got an attorney that is in your area that may be able to help you out on
I have a feeling that ship has sailed, but
Michael just because I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
So Michael's trying to get me clients apparently.
But I mean, if I had $1 million of attorneys, I wouldn't be able to fight Fox with their $500 million worth of attorneys. Over $5,000. I should have gone to the labor board. That's what I should have done. If I had had a brain, I would have gone to the labor board and said, they're not paying on this contract. Now, Fox may think it's tough shit, but they're not as tough shit as the city of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The city of Los Angeles would have made the fuckers pay.
Yeah. So Jordu, obviously, as we discussed a little bit right before the show, 300 is actually one of my favorite, like modern.
Yeah, on that.
I would love to ask you about this. Yeah. Man, look at these.
Yeah, these are little bust maquettes I did for some of the creature stuff. This happened because I worked for Zack Snyder on Dawn of the Dead. And so he came to me, and you can see the Dawn of the Dead work back at the other page.
Yeah.
But he came to me and he said, I want some designs to sell the movie. I want to do this movie called 300, which is based on this comic, this graphic novel. And so I produced, these were done later. If you go down a little bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the Hunchback.
Yeah, I did this Hunchback maquette. I did this Gladiator maquette. And I did this
man, that's cool.
I did a monster, like a sort of beast like monster warrior character. Yeah, click on the monster there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I did the Hunchback and maybe a couple others down there. I don't know. I can't even remember what I did, but these maquettes helped to sell the movie. And then I worked on a couple other things for Zach. He called me. Oh yeah, I did this one of Xerxes.
Yeah, that's really cool. Man.
And he called me up when he was doing Watchmen, and he wanted me to do some stuff for Watchmen, and then some jackass said we ought to do it digitally, so I was out.
Man,
yeah, Dawn of the Dead. Click on Dawn of the Dead there. Yeah, these are maquettes I did for Dawn of the Dead.
Man, how cool are these?
Badass, right?
Yeah.
And this is a mask I did. This is a sculpture, and then the final mask is down below. Yeah.
Look at that. Jeez.
I did these through an effects company called AFX, which is a guy named Dave Anderson.
Man. Love it. Jeez, these are cool.
Jordu, do you have I know because you do this every day, it's like give or take, but do you have a person, do you keep a lot of these movie props that you do in your studio, or?
Usually they end up being the property of whoever I've done them for, so I don't really have much.
I understand.
I've got a few things. I've still luckily got all those maquettes I did for the Predator.
About Hellboy.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to show here. I mean, I did this maquette of Behemoth, and then I did a close-up of this kind of beak that's supposed to come out of his face or something.
You can see your inspiration in just looking in. I don't know if it's facts, but from these old movies that we talked about earlier, Sinbad, and I can just see a lot of that stuff coming out. And some of your
is that all there is for Men in Black?
Yeah, that's all you have there.
What? Oh my god!
Some of these creature aliens, I mean, they're badass.
I did shelves of maquettes for Men in Black and masks and all kinds of shit. I've got to update that.
Yeah.
So Jordu, kind of like Phil Tippett, you will create these little maquettes. So the director or whoever it may be, producers, they come through and they pick and choose of something to get ideas.
Yeah. Yep, that's the basic idea.
Yeah,
why don't you show some of the photos I sent you?
Yeah. That was next here. Let me pull them up.
Then we can talk about those photos.
Yeah, that's freaking badass looking.
Let's start from the top here. Yeah, so tell us about it. So what do we?
Well, this is one of my collectible masks called Amp. These masks are my high-end masks that I sell for anywhere from $600 to $7,000. They vary a lot in price depending on how much work they are.
Man, look at that.
Yeah, that's all latex.
Wow. I mean, the fact that the helmet looks like it's a real, like, hard helmet.
Yeah.
It's just
it takes a while to sculpt something that clean, but
so that's latex on the hat too?
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, obviously, are these wearable or are these mostly for display?
They're mostly for display, although I think that this one here is wearable.
Gotcha.
Hold on, I'll be right back. I have a copy of that one.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, these are crazy cool.
Yeah. I love his honesty,
Yeah.
It's like, F those motherfuckers. That film sucked.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is an unpainted copy of the mask.
I'm going to put you on the big screen. Oh, there it is.
Well, you can see it's all latex.
Yeah.
Thanks for going and getting that. I appreciate you taking the time to grab it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Man. And now these are all done in-house? You you do everything from sculpting to the actual the
Oh yeah.
the pools and all that. Man, that's cool. Yeah.
The lighting isn't tremendous, but
Yeah, we can
Oh,
see
yeah. You can see it. Yeah, it's great.
shadows well. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I know Pete's enjoying this show.
I know Pete's like
He's had to throw one down like 3 times already. Hey, that's nothing but respect, Pete. Come on.
sculpts maquettes in 10 minutes.
I do not sculpt them in 10 minutes.
Man, that's cool. Well, let me go back to these pictures. All right. So all of these like this is all latex.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
I mean, the pane of glass isn't.
Right.
The shadow, that's just
Yeah.
thin piece of plastic glued into the inside. But
There, Pete has a question. That Frankenstein mask behind you is the same one you saw in your shop in '86.
actually, it is.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we had Don Post on, as you know, Pete's a big Don Post guy, and he remembers and going, and he has all the original. It's really cool. It's really cool. I'm so lucky to know Pete. I mean, he's such a respectful guy, man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at this one.
Can you make the picture bigger? You could just click on the green dot up there and.
Yeah, I think the problem is that I see. Nah.
All you got to do is click the down arrow now, and you should be able to go through them.
Did it? Let me see. Did it work?
It worked. Yeah, look good.
Oh, it worked. Okay, I can't see. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Hey, that kind of reminds me of, it's not, but kind of. Well, there's a couple movies, but one of them is The Last Starfighter. Kind of.
Yeah.
That is badass, dude.
That was just done for a haunted house back east. You zoom in on that one.
Zoom in.
David's asking Jordu, are you going to be at Monster Palooza?
No, I don't go to conventions anymore because there's no money to be made.
Sounds like David.
And it's just turned out to be a huge waste of time and money.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, really disappointed with the last convention I went to. My phone got stolen. My work arrived damaged.
Yeah.
The venue was way too big for what it was. So I got about 40 people who walked by all my stuff the whole weekend. I didn't sell shit. It was awful.
No, man. This one's crazy looking. Man. So where do you come up with these things? Like, is it just kind of like you're just like?
Well, I mean, that's my job. I come up with creature designs,
Yeah. But is it just kind of like how Pete said, just kind of out of nothing? Or are you getting inspiration from anything?
Well, I mean, I have so many ideas and so many characters I want to get to. I'll never get to them all before I die tomorrow. So it's like, there's always a bounty of things to draw on.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you you don't put them down on paper first, right? You just work.
No, I usually just sculpt it. Yeah. I get an idea for something and just make it.
Man, look how cool this is. I love that. I love that whole hybrid look, right? It's like the whole like
cyborg monster.
Yeah, cyborg monster. That's so cool. Man. Oh, that's so
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
How's business right now, Jordu?
Business is quite good, actually. I've got a lot going on. I'm sculpting a creature that's off to my left right now. Can't show it yet, but
so you have people reaching out, obviously, because you've established a clientele base of so people
Yeah,
know.
I've got a fairly decent following on Instagram.
I got cool.
About 163,000 people or something, and there are a lot of collectors like yourself who reach out
Yep.
and say, hey, I like this thing, or cut me a deal, or whatever it is.
I'm really looking forward to Obi-Wan. Obviously, that's behind what we're discussing. That's off air, but I'm really excited to have a life-size Obi-Wan because I haven't seen an accurate one yet to date. So those are hard. Those face sculpts, those aren't easy.
Well, likenesses, yeah, we'll be getting to the likenesses, I think, in just a second.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tiny little picture.
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite ones. I love that.
Yeah, that's Genetic Mutation 2. It's
cool.
huge. The thing is like big, crazy piece.
You're a perfect example of somebody who saw something and you loved it and you had to be a part of it. And what's crazy is either you're good at it or you're not, There's people that are like you that were passionate, but they just don't have that talent, that raw talent.
Well, a lot of it has to do with your ability to see how good you are at really seeing what makes something what it is.
Oh, that's cool.
And doing it a lot.
Yeah.
People say, wow, man, you did that in like half an hour. And it's like, no, I did it in 50 years in half an hour.
Yeah.
It like takes many, many, many years to become truly great at anything. And if you work hard enough and you care enough and you're open to criticism and you really, really have a critical eye yourself, I think you can do just about anything.
Yeah.
I agree.
Man, these are cool.
It looks badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I'm sorry, Gabe.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say it's so crazy when you see the amount like these aliens right here, and these are so like original to me. A lot when you see all the aliens that have been done. I mean they look a lot alike. It's you have this certain persona of what an alien looks like, and these are just Stranger Things, man. The producers should have reached out to you, man. This is.
I mean, even the paint. I mean, it's like it's so organic. Like it looks like a real
legit
thing, right? Like how you would expect like a living organism to like look, right? Like with the veins and man, just awesome.
Well, I mean, again, I've learned a lot from the artists I've met in this business, and I've really been striving to make my work more and more realistic.
Yeah.
That thing looks like it's right out of Star Wars.
Yeah, I freaking love
that. Feels very McQuarrie.
Yeah.
A lot of my aesthetic is from Ralph McQuarrie, who I think is the greatest production designer in history.
Wow.
He just knew what looked right.
Yeah. Man, this is cool.
Those eyes don't light up, right? Those are just
no, they don't light up. No,
it's just like that other one looks like it was lit.
Oh, the green one.
Yeah, that other one. No, the one
old man looking thing. Yeah, those are lit up. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Well, here's some of the.
Yeah, this is a likeness of. Oh.
Hang on! Don't even say it. I know. Steve McQueen.
Yeah, it's Steve McQueen.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, it's literally like it just looks like he just popped out, like out of the film. It's insane.
And if I can just say real quick, jump in. So a lot of you guys have seen my newest project that my good friend Richard Riley did for me, which is the life-size Wampa. I don't know if Jordu got a chance to see that, but he's dragging the life-size Luke. it's an incredible likeness of Luke Skywalker. But for those of you who do not know, so those life casts that I have of my Bespin and the one being dragged in the Hoth outfit, those life casts are, it's made out of a different material than what you would see on something like this, right, Jordu? Can you kind of explain like how the hair's punched and everything?
Yeah, I think the things you have are made out of resin.
That's correct.
So they're rigid, they're hard material like plastic.
Yep.
And they can be painted pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And you can even cast it to look somewhat translucent, so it looks like flesh. The only downside is that you cannot actually insert hair into it. Things like this. Go to the next one.
Your favorite?
Yeah, this is probably my most popular piece.
Yeah, this is Gabe's Jordan. This is Gabe's favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah, I have them tattooed right here. I don't know if you can see it, but
oh wow, look at that.
Tattooed on the inside of my arm.
Well, this Peter Cushing, Grand Moff Tarkin, was made out of silicone. So silicone allows you to insert false eyes, false lashes, punch hair in one by one into the scalp. You can paint it very, very realistically, and it has a translucence to it, which you can sort of see in the photo even.
Yeah.
That gives it a hyper level of realism. And then are there other photos of Tarkin, or is this the only one I sent?
There might be a couple other ones I'm missing. No, I guess this is the only one.
It's badass, dude.
All right. Well, I took a lot of care to get the costume coloring right and everything. I had the whole torso done, and I did the rank badge, and I had to source all the little buttons and everything that go into the rank badge and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. I've made quite a few of these. There are quite a few people that have collected this piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap, but everyone I've sold it to seems ecstatic with it. So
yeah, I mean, look at it. This is insane.
Yeah, Peter would be proud. It's him.
Yeah. While I was prepping the show, my wife saw some of these pictures and she's like, "Wait, are you gonna order that?" And I was like, "Relax." She's like, "That is just so scary. It's so lifelike."
Yeah. Yeah, I just absolutely. I know we're gonna get there, but the Obi one, that's so cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
So this was the hardest likeness I have ever done. You see, a lot of sculptors, he's been done many, many, many times.
Mm-hmm.
And most sculptors miss the mark. I'm not saying I nailed it, but it's damn close. And the thing is that Harrison Ford, his persona, his charisma, and his features come together as handsome. But separately, his features are not. He's got a huge nose. He's got really heavy brow, which is very low to his eyes. He's got a crooked mouth. He's got actually kind of a weak chin that's sort of tucked back. So people always kind of sculpt him heroically. They want him to be handsome.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that all these features come together and he's got so much charisma that, yeah, it makes him handsome. But the separate individual features are not. His nose is tweaked to one side. So
yeah.
He was a very difficult likeness. Very, very difficult. It took me weeks.
Wow.
But I finally got it to the place where I was pretty satisfied with it.
Jordu, if you don't mind, if I can just ask, because I don't do what you do, but I'm just curious the process of how do you do something like this? Like I know some of the other people, like my Luke and stuff, that they just simply take a life cast of his face, right, and they copied off of that. What do you do, Jordu?
Well, you start by collecting loads of reference, because this all has to be done from photos.
Yeah.
The young Harrison Ford doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And so I just collected photo after photo after photo everywhere I went. If I saw an image of Harrison Ford young on my TV or at a store or something, I would take a photo of it for reference. Finding a perfect profile of him from that age was very difficult. But you start with the profile on the sculpture, because the profile is something, you know, no matter what the focal length of the camera is, no matter how close you are to the subject, it's always going to be, that's a given. Like it's locked in stone. So you start with the profile, you make a cutout of the profile in cardboard or wood, and you hold it up to your sculpture. And this is a technique I learned from a master sculptress named Amelia Rawcroft in England. She's absolutely brilliant. Follow her on Instagram if you want, if you can. Amelia Rawcroft, Rowcroft, Rawcroft. And she starts doing that. She starts with a profile, and then you start building the structure, and you turn it to the front. You've got this weird looking narrow face with just the profile. And then you start building out the bone structure, and you just keep looking at that reference. You take measurements and all this kind of thing. And so you can go to the next picture if you would like.
So real quick, so you basically sculpted that all by yourself, correct? Or with your team?
I didn't. My team doesn't help me sculpt, really. I do it all.
Okay.
So what my team does is help make molds or cast in silicone, but I do the sculpting and the painting. The hair work is done usually. There are a few people I hire, but there's a woman named Lynn Watson I've used for things, who's terrific. A woman named Denise Bear, who's excellent. She goes by Hair Punching Girl on Instagram.
That's who's going to do Obi-Wan's hair punch?
Yes. She's, I think, just one of the very best in the world. Lando's hair was tough to get. I also think that I painted under his eyes a little too dark. He looks a little like an Indian or something, or like sickly or something. It's a little too dark underneath the eyes. I wish I could go back and lighten that up a little bit. But the likeness is actually pretty close. Let's see the last one there.
Last one. Save this guy. And we could jump on your website too, because I know you have other pictures on your website.
So yeah, now he was difficult to do because it was tough to find profiles of Sir Alec Guinness at that age with no beard. You see, you're flying kind of blind when you've got a character with a lot of facial hair. Billy D. Williams, there are a billion photos of him. He's been on Jet magazine and Ebony magazine with and without mustache. He was not too hard to find reference on. Sir Alec Guinness with nothing, totally bare, was very difficult to find. But I eventually was able to track down some good photos. And, I took as long as I needed to get the likeness right. I even sometimes look at other sculptures that have been done of them to see if there's something in that sculpture that I think, oh, that makes them. That's really them. I'll even look at caricatures that people have drawn or painted of the person to see what are the leading edges of their face that make them them. And to me, one of the things about him was the sort of sad, droopy eyes, like the
yeah, he looks concerned here. I like it.
And that frown, that kind of concerned, serious frown is very much a part of his look.
God, I cannot wait to have that guy in my collection. That is badass looking. And you know that Harrison Ford, if kind of put a little bit more hair, like a dark shadow of hair, and put an Indiana Jones hat on him, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah, that could certainly be done. I thought about doing an Indiana Jones version of him.
Yeah.
Because that's from the same era. That was 80, 81.
Yeah, we're doing some life-size stuff for the restaurant.
So
Yeah,
here's
that Spock is
some more pictures of the
Yeah, if you look at that one, that's it sitting on the table before I put it on the body with the costume and everything.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's cool.
How many of these have you done already? The Obi-Wan.
I think I've only done 2 or 3 Obi-Wans.
Cool.
The
I mean, that looks like it's a you. I mean, it's just a 3D. I mean, that's him, right?
100%. I mean, and again, I think it goes back to right. Your love for the Hammer films too. I'm sure you kind of already had him, burned into your mind from.
Well, I mean, I've always liked him very much as an actor, but I was watching. My wife loves Star Wars. She just loves it, and more than I do. And there it is, complete with the rank badge and everything.
That's the one I was looking for.
So we were watching the original one night, which is the only film he appears in, and the rank badge is accurate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some jerk got on Instagram and was like, the rank badge isn't right. And I'm like, the fuck it ain't. Yes, it is. I watched that movie over and over and over. I looked closely at the scenes. That rank badge is dead on. Fuck you.
He's probably talking about because
right.
Well, check this out. Like, let me show you what I got here. Like I said, he's one of my favorite characters. But
maybe it's not orange enough.
No, I think what it is, it's the buttons. So these are real buttons, like real push buttons. So maybe that's what he meant. Like he was like, oh, like
no. That's what I got. I got those same buttons.
Oh, you got the push buttons.
Yes, I did. I had to source them. But I think what the guy might have been saying was that the buttons on mine look more yellow than they are orange. Those look kind of orangey.
Maybe that's what I don't know. Yeah, maybe
that's right. I jerked off to Star Wars 400 times, and I know what it is.
Hey, listen. Hey, I just got to ask you, Jordu. You never did that to James Cameron, did you? Because that may be the reason you didn't get called back. Because something tells me that you're the type of guy that doesn't fucking hold back. Yes or no?
Honestly, I would make Jim laugh all the time. It was one of my great joys in life was just not caring and just
Jordu, you've accomplished something that I try to accomplish every time, which is this.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
What's up? They're getting closer.
Oh yeah? Watch this.
Watch what?
I don't know what's going on there.
Michael's laugh sounds like the Falcon when it's about when it's about to fail. Yeah.
Yeah, the viewers are always messing with me. So
yeah, one of our viewers made that video for us because it's like Michael sounds like the Falcon when it's breaking down when he laughs. Yeah, like that.
Well, you're hilarious, Jordu, dude. I love you.
But I mean, I've got a very strange relationship with the people that collect my work in the sense that I'm so very appreciative that people are willing to plunk down their hard-earned cash, in some cases thousands of dollars, for the stuff I make.
Yeah.
On the other hand, some of them are nitpicky little jerks, and it drives you crazy. You're like, well, I have a friend. In fact, the guy who owns Distortions Unlimited, his name is Ed Edmonds. He's a really good friend of mine. I've become really good friends with him, and I've worked with him for many, many years, over 30 years. And, he's my hero. He's the guy who made all those masks that I loved as a kid, and Pete too. I'm saying he loved Pete as a kid. No, that's not what I mean. No. I mean, he made those masks that Pete and I both loved as kids.
Cracking up. These ones.
Yeah. But
there, you got the Falcon. Get the Falcon started up again.
Ed,
How's
go to my Spock bust
Oh,
All right, let me see.
on my website there.
dude.
Realistic busts. Yeah.
Look at the profile.
I feel like I'm in church right now. Oh,
All right. Now, I worked really hard on this bust to get this likeness right.
Mhm.
And Ed said, well, actually, the ears aren't quite accurate. I was like, Ed, when you can sculpt that likeness, I'll listen, but shut up.
That's badass. That's a beautiful.
It's a pointy ear, dude. What? The fact that you even know it's not accurate means there's something wrong with you, motherfucker. Shit.
Let me ask. Let me ask Joseph.
He's trekking. We have a buddy named Joseph. He's a big Trekkie, and
He'll see what's wrong, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
There's another good photo. That one there, yeah, that one's pretty good.
That looks great.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about it is I wish we had taken the curlers to the front so that it bulged out more. It's a little too straight. It needs to kind of have a bump. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And nice. The costume is like Federation approved. So like you can't really put it down. It's Federation approved.
Yes.
I've never had sex before with a girl.
Oh, those Trekkies.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm sorry, but Star Wars people are as nerdy too. They're just as nerdy about.
But you know what? They're cool nerds though.
I see. You're better than the Star Trek.
We're way better. You know what I mean? Hey, did you know, Gabe, that Joseph was just telling me I'm throwing him under the bus big time, and he was telling me that he's working on a new costume for his Star Trek cosplay.
Oh,
I
nice.
look forward to seeing him dressed up.
See, that's easy. Star Trek people could dress up real quick, just the shirt and the pants, the boots, you're done,
But you have to be in shape.
Not if you want to be a Gorn.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The Gorn, you got a lot of work to do.
That's my favorite. I love that.
It's not as much work as, dressing up as IG-88 or something, but
yeah.
Hey, Jose, I love that.
Hey, Jordu,
actually have sex.
I know, right? I also saw on your website you have this other kind of brand, or I guess I don't know,
brand
almost, right? And it's I just wanted to ask you about it because it's really cool because like a lot of people are into like kind of the oddities and like these like little things, and this is great. So these are all just kind of miniature, smaller. Well, I mean, technically life size, right? You would think.
I mean, the whole idea is that these are supposed to go to the hands and paws. They're all supposed to be actual, real, excavated relics.
Wow.
Or things that have been almost like a natural museum of history or natural history museum of fantasy artifacts. So like a troll paw, a witch's hand of glory. I think I've got a dragon in stasis.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. See, I love that kind of stuff.
I keep forgetting this guy's name, Jordu. What the gentleman that has collected all these props? He's got the original King Kong that everyone.
Bob Burns.
Yeah, have you been to Bob's place before?
Oh yeah, a few times.
Yeah. A few of my friends have told me about when they got to go over there, and I just can't even imagine.
Bob Burns has some of the most astonishing stuff, and one of the most tragic stories I've ever heard was that Bob, he's getting on in years. And
I wondered if he was still alive.
At one point, he contacted Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and said, hey, I've got stuff from your movies. We should talk about creating a museum in Hollywood for this stuff. And they were like, they didn't have any interest.
Wow.
To them, it was just like old junk that, had been done for their movie, and all they cared about was the movie itself. And he's got that fluffy, four-eyed white snow creature from Star Wars.
Yeah.
From the Cantina. He's got the original.
Guys,
what is it? Moff Tar? What is his name, Michael? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Fluffy face.
Muff.
Tom would be
It's
able
got
to.
those black eyes, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an insect spider snow
He
monster.
has the American Werewolf, right, in
Yeah,
London.
he's got everything.
Stuff from An American World from London. He's got tons of stuff from Rick, stuff from Chris Wallace.
Yeah, James Cameron stuff, Terminator and
Yeah, he's got
Aliens.
a drop ship and all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he's got
David-
original face huggers from the first movie.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, he's got the maquette, the original King Kong maquette from the 40s.
He's got the original armature.
Armature.
Yeah, armature. That's what I meant. And if you guys haven't seen this, you can go to the YouTube channel and look at Bob Burns. And I'm telling you guys, I mean, you name it, and it's just the shame of it all. Like you just kind of brought up, is it's not in a museum, and it absolutely needs to all be in a museum.
The big derelict ship from Alien
yeah,
is in his backyard,
yeah,
covered with a tarp.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the stuff's going to disintegrate and no one will ever see it. It should be preserved by
Yes.
some multimillionaire.
Yep.
Should
Like
be in a
Lucas
museum.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be in a museum. This stuff is,
It's history.
historic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I also I found some of your prints too that you have, and I'm curious about this one. What kind of inspired this alien, the pose on the alien?
Oh, that actually is a can we zoom in on that at all, or
It's not letting me here.
oh, that's too bad.
Let's see.
Well, anyway, there is an actual photo of the suit being of there being fuck my brain. There are photos of movement tests that they took during the pre-production of Alien,
Mhm.
and one of them was
Oh, that pose.
that actor Benjingi Bubabo or whatever his name is bending over in the suit to see how much it would flex,
Yeah.
and it became kind of an iconic pose. And I always thought it was such a cool photo. They photographed him against all white, just kind of bending over in the suit. You could see how big the head was and all the details and the skull and the tail and everything all in one compact shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was awesome, so I did a sketch of it. And
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really cool. And it's again with that whole background story of it, right? Because again, just it has this, may I say, I guess lineage to it, right? Because it's from one of the pictures. That's really cool.
Alien is without a doubt the greatest monster ever made for a movie. It changed everything. Even Star Wars was still kind of stuck in the big-headed, bulgy-eyed alien look.
Yeah.
And Alien came along and just completely changed everything for creature designers. Without that movie, we'd still be in the Stone Ages. I mean, it was just a quantum leap in creature design.
Yeah. Now I gotta admit something to you, Jordu, because obviously so Michael and all these guys would give me such a hard time because I am a little bit young. I'm 41, so I was born in 83.
You haven't seen Alien?
I hadn't seen Alien. No, because growing up, I mean that was a horror film for me, right? And my parents weren't going to let me see it. And then once I got to my teenager years, I was kind of over that. So I hadn't seen it. And about last year, right, Michael? I told
We
these
gave them
guys
a hard time, Jordu. Trust me.
Last
Last year you saw it?
year, and they're like, "Wait, you've never seen Alien or Alien?" I was like, "No,
Blade Runner either, Jordu.
Blade Runner either." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna commit to everybody. I'm gonna watch those two films." And I did. I watched Alien and Aliens.
Fell asleep in Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah. I mean, a couple times.
Well, look, I'm going to be totally on the table here.
Nuh-uh. Okay.
Blade Runner's a little boring. It's a little boring.
Yeah,
It's a little
yeah,
boring.
it is.
Blade Runner is a visual spectacular. It's one of the most visually sumptuous science fiction films ever made.
Yeah.
A little
I
bit.
love the soundtrack.
Alien is not fucking boring. Alien is hideous and disturbing.
Yeah.
And when you think of it in the context of the time, 1979, I mean, it just blew everyone's mind. I'll tell you a funny story. I went to see Alien 3 in the theater with a friend, and behind me, a woman was talking to her son, who seemed like he was about 10 or 11. He was like, "So, Mom, what's this all about? What do you know?" And she was like, "Well, it's a sequel to a film called Alien. You know, it's the second sequel, rather." And she said no one had ever seen anything like that in 1979. And I was like, "I've got to talk to this bitch. I got to turn around." So I turned around.
Now or what?
I started talking to her, and I was like, "Your mom is exactly right. No one had ever seen anything like it. It was a major change in science fiction." And the little kid said, "Yeah, my mom was in a big science fiction movie too." I was like, "Oh, yeah? Yeah, it was called RoboCop." I was like, and I looked at her, and I was like, holy dog shit. She is the pretty librarian-looking scientist who says he could crush every bone in your hand. When you know she's helping the jerk off yuppie guy. She didn't have glasses, but man, she was fine. But it was amazing. I mean, there she was watching Alien 3, which was kind of not so good. But when I saw 7, I kind of realized what David Fincher's aesthetic was and what he was kind of going for in Alien 3, and I respected it more. But Alien, man, I'm telling you, that first film is just
is that your favorite?
Comes close.
That's your favorite
of what?
Of the aliens? Is that's your
of
Ridley Scott?
But of course, I mean, Aliens is fun.
Yeah,
but it's just a big dumb action movie.
Did you tell that to James?
What?
Did you tell Jim that?
Yeah, I yelled it in his face. Yeah. Sure. No, I mean, but Alien is like an artfully made. It's just nothing compares. It's the greatest monster movie ever made. Yeah. Quickly followed by The Thing, followed by perhaps An American Werewolf in London, followed by Ernest Scared Stupid. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, we all know it's the best film ever made.
Hey, let me ask you real quick. Did you like the movie Spaceballs? Be honest.
No. I saw
my brother.
Well, I saw Spaceballs in the theater. And I mean, I love Mel Brooks. I think Mel Brooks is a genius, you know, young Frankenstein. You know, but it seemed kind of just, the humor just seems sort of corny.
Yeah.
Dark Helmet, you know. I mean, I love Rick Moranis and everybody that was in the movie. I mean, John Candy's great. Yeah. It has so much going for it, and yet the humor just wasn't.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little bit too cornball. Well, here's the question that'll end our friendship for real. What do you think of the film 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think it's one of the most. Now, look, I know what George Lucas thinks. I do not like that movie at all. It's one of the most boring movies ever, dude.
What? See, I actually, when I watch, because I'm a big fan. I like 2001: Space Odyssey. I almost compared it to Alien. When I watched Alien, that was my that was like the closest thing that I could compare it to, because that suspense, right? That like quiet, very eerie suspense that's like building up. That's the only movie that I had to reference, you know, when I watched Alien.
But it's like watching Chariots
Don't-
of Fire. I just didn't.
Yeah, don't dig it any deeper because 2001 is my favorite movie. I could watch it over and over. It's the greatest film ever made to me.
Will you tell me why, Jordu? Honest, on a serious level, will you tell me
Sure.
why is it your favorite when you've of Star Wars and all of these other crazy movies? Why?
Well, 2001, first of all, is the only film besides a forgotten film called Silent Running.
Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey is the only film in history that takes space seriously.
Yeah.
It understands the physics of space.
It's real.
No sound, no fire,
Right.
no air.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the only film in history besides Silent Running that understands that.
Yeah.
The mystery, the realism of the concept of the culture shock that it would cause if we discovered an alien artifact or civilization.
Mhm.
That is taken so seriously. There are no laser guns, there's no Wookiees. It's a very serious, very adult film.
Right.
It's the science is right. The protocols are realistic. The futurism, I think, is exemplary. I mean, just phenomenal.
What was the year of that one, Jordu?
68.
Yeah. I know Lucas was very inspired by that movie.
So was James Cameron. Almost all of these directors, Spielberg, I'm sure. I mean, it changed what science fiction kind of was.
Yeah.
Science fiction before that was Flash Gordon and shit.
Yeah.
Then 2001 came. I don't know if there'd be a Star Wars
Right.
if 2001 hadn't happened.
That makes sense.
You know, the special effects were way ahead of their time. There are still things that people haven't figured out.
Yeah.
In fact, the guy who made Chewbacca, Stuart Freeborn,
Yep.
he made those 8 masks.
Yeah.
You know, for 2001, and he kept the secret of how he made that mouth articulate. He took that secret to his grave.
Wow.
People don't know exactly how he did it. He says he did it with tongue toggles, something that was so sensitive that your tongue could make it snarl. And, you know, I mean,
That's crazy.
I don't
Can
know.
I just say something? Let me just tell you something real quick. Respectfully, I am gonna go back and I'm gonna watch that movie. I can honestly tell you. No. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you why. Because at the time that I saw it, I'm just being honest. I mean, it inspired you in a whole completely different way. To where me, it was just. I'm sorry, I'm just being honest. It was just really boring to me at that time when I was a kid and when I saw it. But I can honestly tell you, I don't even remember what the movie is all about. I remember the space, and there just wasn't a lot of action. It was just really slow and
I mean, it is. It's a very, very cerebral film. So it is not for Star Wars fans or Armageddon fans,
right,
or even Blade Runner fans. It's a very slow, deliberate film.
Right.
You are, I mean, the special effects in 1968 were so mind-boggling that just watching a ship slowly move across the cosmos was breathtaking to audiences then. And Stanley Kubrick knew that. So he would deliberately have very slow things happen. First of all, to show you, for instance, there's a scene where a ship is docking in a rotating space station. The Blue Danube Waltz is playing. Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, yeah.
And you know, and you get closer and closer to this spinning space station, and you see the ship have to match the rotation of the space station as it's going to dock.
Yeah.
That is to show you how arduous and difficult space travel would be.
Yeah.
It's not something where you just, all right, watch this. Zoo, pew, wow, oh my God, we're in, you know, Alderaan already. You know, it's a very, very slow, deliberate, methodical film, which I think has the most astonishing ending ever. Basically, our lead character is literally and spiritually and figuratively reborn as the next step of. See, he's even bored listening to me now.
Mike,
No, I've got people blowing me up about Colin passing away, and I'm just letting them know it's on my. And then some of them are saying that this guy is fucking hilarious, and another one says I really like this guy.
And some
You want me
guys
to
are
keep
saying
going,
he is
Jordu?
fat as shit. Tell him to shut his arrogant mouth.
No, but anyway, that's the facts of the matter.
But see, 2001 is ultimately about first contact with an alien species and how that first contact evolves human beings. It's no mistake or accident that the movie starts with us as primitive men and or primitive creatures, and the monolith shows up and it jumpstarts something in us, and the first ape realizes this doesn't have to just be a bone. This can be a weapon. And he starts smashing skulls, and the next scene they're eating meat. They'd had meat walking around them all the time with these tapirs walking around them all the time, and now they can actually get it. They can defend themselves. They show themselves defending themselves against another tribe or attacking a tribe to gain their watering hole back. You know, they show. I mean, it's I could talk about.
I
this
don't even
movie
remember.
forever.
I don't remember that
Yeah.
stuff at all.
you got it.
I could talk about this film forever. So let's stop. But
That's cool, though. That's really cool.
it's amazing how much you look like George W. Bush. It really is.
I could see that.
Yeah, see that? George W. Bush right
I
there.
could see that. I'm like, I could actually.
I've never heard that in my life.
But
Interesting.
That's funny.
I feel like I'm talking to George Bush about this. But he's from Texas. Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah.
But,
Let's play golf. Let's play golf.
But yeah, 2001 is not. I mean, you may watch it again and not like it. That's fine. It's fine.
Right.
I mean, most people I've talked to who haven't liked it have said they thought it was boring.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it is mind expanding. It is science fiction truly for adults.
Yeah.
And it's just the most incredibly beautiful, amazing story of all time.
No, it's great. And you know what's kind of crazy, and this is kind of obviously, fast forward, and this is kind of unrelated but very related. Have you seen the movie WALL-E, the Pixar cart? Yeah, it's obviously the steering wheel kind of is Hal, and it's kind of that whole evolution of human. It's almost like a sequel, like in a sense, right? I think that's what they're going for. But it's kind of interesting how these new generations are still tied to this film, even now, like my kids, watching WALL-E, and I'm explaining it to them. I was like, yeah, it's like there's this movie, and it's just interesting how it just kind of lasted through time.
Had a lot of talking. Yeah.
Well, I have some nerd questions for you guys.
Sure.
First of all, where did you get that white robot that's glimpsed only in the first Star Wars?
So go ahead, Gabe. Tell me.
Yeah, so there's a company called Regal Robot. It's owned by Tom Spina.
Oh, Tom Spina. Okay.
Spina, yeah, with Tom Spina Designs. So Tom Spina started this company, Regal Robot, and they have access to the archive, the Lucasfilm archives. So they'll go and they'll digitally scan the original or use the original molds or whatever they have at their disposal. So they made 15.
Yeah, that's awesome.
15
Let me just say something. I'm sorry to cut you off, Gabe. I promise.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about this, Jordu, is that you love that so much, but the person who called Tom Spina before they even were going to make these was Pete.
Pete got that commission. Pete's
That
the one
was
who kickstarted that project.
Pete has that?
Yeah,
Yes.
Pete has that. Pete has
Not only does he have it, he
first-
got it started.
he's got the first one ever.
I didn't
made.
know Pete was that big a Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah, Pete.
Oh yeah, he is.
He loves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Crazy.
it
Yeah,
was
look,
Pete.
there's Pete right there. Yeah.
He's like, that was mine.
Yeah, Regal
All
Robot,
right, Pete, calm down.
yeah,
Um,
Regal
all right.
Robot does like that Salacious, the Rancor. They did 83, and that's a digital scan of the puppet in the
Holy
archives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right, I have another question for you.
yeah.
Do you know anyone who has a life-size Imperial probe droid?
Michael has one.
Empire.
I have one.
Michael has one.
Life-size?
Life size.
Where is it?
It
Here.
used to be right where I'm sitting. It's downstairs right now. Going to be where the Wampa is.
Oh,
Let me see if I can pull up.
man.
Let me see if I can pull up a picture, Michael.
Yeah.
Or do you have one ready?
I'm looking, but I don't know if I have.
That is my favorite thing ever. If I could have one thing from Star Wars, it would be a light. How did you get it?
I had a buddy of mine. It was an older, and it's funny because I'm looking forward to meeting McMaster this next week because he also has a life-size Pro Droid. I got it right here, Gabe.
You got it? Can you
Yes.
send it to me? Text.
Oh yeah, better. Yeah. So, Gabe. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here you go. It's actually right where I'm sitting is where I had it, but I'm redoing the snow base on it. But we're getting real lenses for it right now, and that's what I don't know if you know who McMaster is. He's a master robot builder.
Michael McMasters.
Michael McMaster. Yeah.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. See the big ovals on the top where the eyes are. I'm getting real lenses.
Yeah,
And then
Oh
we're in the
God.
base is cool, but we're gonna make it a little bit more realistic with the snow.
You've even got an IG-88.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, what's up with that chrome dome on that R2D2? That's not accurate.
That's the
That's a Kenner toy.
Oh,
That's
I see. It's a life-size version of the Kenner.
It's the life-size version, yeah.
I think it's safe to say that you're legitimately insane.
Yeah, we all are. Every one of these viewers that are watching us right now, we're in a little group called the Insane Club. So what we do is we make them feel better. We all come together on a Saturday night and kind of just make us feel like we really don't have a problem.
Well, you do. But the Imperial Probe Droid, the second I saw it, I think it was designed actually by Mobius. The second I saw it, I wanted it. You know, I've always loved that thing. I thought the toys sucked. I was almost going to spend $1,500 on the model that they came out with from Sideshow or one of these companies.
Yeah, Sideshow.
But it's so expensive. I just couldn't. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's actually should be ready. That Salzo's doing my studio scale Probe Droid right now.
Nice.
Yeah, you've known about that for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's see. Lee, can you send me a picture of your half scale?
Yeah, because him and Jeff have that one.
Yeah, or Jeff. Yeah. But it's best if you text it to me, I can pull it up real quick.
Hey, dude, he's all calling me out. I guess I bored that motherfucker. Right?
Hey, but you kind of a little bit do look like George Bush. Like when if I squint my eyes a little bit and kind of
That's weird. Nobody has ever.
I know that, but hey, Jordu has an eye for facial features. So.
Yeah.
That's funny. Man, yeah, that Kenobi, that's gonna be amazing for you to have, man. Are you gonna put him on a full size mannequin, or are you just gonna do?
Yes, yeah. So I'm having him do the whole thing.
Nice.
I brought a friend.
Oh, let's see. Oh, look at that. Cushing.
He doesn't have his eyes in yet.
Man, that's cool.
But I'm going to put the eyes in and put the costume on and get the hair done.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, Gabe.
I know, right? My wife's the one that needs to be scared because
Man.
I'll give you a good deal on it if you want him.
Ooh,
That's a question after the show.
yeah. We'll have to talk about that one after. Yeah, make sure my wife's not around.
Jordu, go ahead. Okay.
Oh no, I was going to show you. So our other buddy has a half scale probe droid. Um, look at
Oh
that.
man, that's gorgeous.
And this one's half scale, which is still huge, right? It's probably still about 6 feet tall, right? Like from the base to the yeah.
So Lee's very well respected in the community of his displays, and everybody reaches out, and all of us lean on each other for ideas on how to do stuff.
Yeah.
There was some guy I saw on some Star Wars nut job forum that he had built a life-size moisture evaporator. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It looked just like the things in the movie.
Yeah.
Why you'd want to make that, I don't know, but it was cool.
Well, actually, you doing maquettes and all that. Regal Robot put out the chess set, like the maquettes that they, yeah,
Pretty awesome.
and these are from the 3D scans that they did of the originals.
Holy shit!
And
How are those still around? Even
Well, they had to, yeah, they worked with Phil Tippett. They had a couple of them here and there. The archives, I think, had a couple, but the rest of them, I think one of them they had to, or a couple of them they had to redo from scratch. There's two of them that disappeared in the movie. I guess there's 10 altogether, but 2 are not in the original film. Well, they found those 2 and then they added them to the set. So this one's one of them right here. Right?
Wow, I remember that one.
So now Tom's with a bunch of the next one is Max Rebo. Max Rebo, the blue guy in the piano.
That is my least favorite alien of all time.
Yeah. Okay. And anyway, what's he called? He's called the maquette.
Oh yeah, it's I mean it's a maquette. That's what it is.
Yeah, but what is the name of what was the name? Red Ball. What the one that?
Red Ball something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's what Phil Tippett called him when he sculpted him.
I remember when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, and I saw Max Rebo, and I thought, "Oh no, are we supposed to think that's is that supposed to be an actual living thing and not someone in a costume? Oh my God, we're supposed to think that's real." I was 15 and I knew it was a piece of shit.
You're gonna piss a lot of people off. You better take it easy, dude. This isn't Star Trek, guys. We don't just back down. You know what I mean?
But Max Rebo, I will say it proudly and loudly, is horrible. It's a terrible looking design. It looks like it was foam scratch built.
It was foam, yeah.
It was foam scratch built. Hey, so last week we're praising Max Rebo, and on the following show, we're bashing.
Well, because we had Tom Spina on the show last week talking about that little Max Rebo maquette.
What's amazing to me is that someone did a maquette of it and they decided to make it complete. I mean, what are you doing, Lucas?
Yeah.
I just no. That thing, and I also am not a big fan of that little yappy sidekick.
Oh, the salacious.
Yeah. I don't like salacious.
Okay. Now, hey, Jordu, stand by. Gabe, slide your camera just a little bit.
He saw it. I think so.
I saw it.
Okay.
So that one's
there he is. A waste of money for Gabe.
That one's.
I mean, it looks like a Muppet to me. It looks like something out of the Dark Crystal and not Star Wars.
That's what this one. So, Tony McVeigh, who sculpted the original one,
Tony McVeigh's brilliant.
Yeah, so he sculpted this one for Regal Robot, and this one looks like the puppet. Even like the texture and all that, it makes it seem more like the puppet.
Yeah,
Let's had him on the show. About the most badass aliens in Star Wars now.
All right.
Okay. For me personally, here's my list.
All right.
You can't beat the Rancor with a stick. That thing is fucking amazing. Yeah. I am still waiting for someone to commission me to do Hammerhead because I think that thing is genius.
Ooh,
I would tear that up with a fucking knife and fork.
So you'd know how to do it then?
Oh yeah, I could do that with my eyes closed. I
my
love that
buddy-
creature.
My buddy wants to do one.
That was done by Ron Cobb. That was designed by Ron Cobb.
Oh no! Somebody say, "Don't say Jar Jar."
Yeah. No comment.
Armando, I'm not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now, so by the way,
Everything I like is from the first 3 movies. I hate almost everything from the new ones. Forget it. Okay. Those 2 aliens in the cantina that are talking with those big heads and those squid-like eyes, those kick ass. I even have an action figure of one that was a rare little action figure. You remember what I'm talking about?
One with the astronaut costume.
One's in an astronaut outfit and one's in robes,
Yeah.
and they've got these big wobbly hands. I've got a casting of the head, believe it or not. I've got a casting of one of those.
Go real like from the screen.
The molds.
What?
Thank you very much. Yep.
What?
me and you.
You're speaking my language now.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Wait a second. What's
I do. I have it from the molds. And I actually got a chance to, when I was working for Phil Tippett in 1999 or 2000, he had it on display, and I took it off and I looked at it and touched it. It's a very crude sculpture. Badass. It's a great design.
Okay, keep going. Who else?
I like, as silly as it is, I like Cy Snoodles. I like it.
Yeah.
I think Cy Snoodles is fun.
Yeah.
Another great one, which is very, very rare. People almost never talk about it. I've never seen anyone make one of it. That kind of leaf creature in Jabba's palace holding a staff.
Yeah.
That thing is fucking awesome.
What's the name? The Power of the Force one. Remember the Michael?
Yak face?
No. The one that's like a
like
big leaf. Yeah, it's like a big.
It's green and like bright, but it's got a corny face.
Omnima. It's called Eminem Man, or
Eminem. Yeah, Eminem from 8 Mile. Yeah. I'll be rapping with the Star Wars, yo. Anyway.
What about Greedo? Not a Greedo fan?
Greedo. I like Greedo. He's not one of my favorites. I like him a lot, though. I think
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. That thing kicks asshole.
No.
Yeah.
That thing kicks asshole.
I'm
all
so
over.
glad that we are not live on this show, and then we're a little later in the evening.
We are live, and yes, it is late in the evening, but it's okay. It's all right. It's YouTube.
You are so real, Jordu. I fucking love you, bro. You're
all right. So, did you know that? Have you ever seen the movie An American Werewolf in London?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know the guy who gets killed on the subway?
No.
That's Bib Fortuna.
Oh, really? It's the same actor? I didn't know.
I know shit you don't.
Yeah,
that's
at the ICCC, I think.
Oh, really? You saw
that
that?
British actor. I can assure you this is not in the least bit amusing. That guy from An American Werewolf in London. That's Bib Fortuna.
Jordu, so I'm not a Yoda fan. Are you a Yoda fan?
What?
Yeah.
I'm not a Yoda fan. I'm not. That's just not. That's not.
If you're not a baby Yoda fan, I can live with that. If you're not a Yoda fan,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a Yoda fan. I mean, that's
like the design.
I just didn't like. I'm not fond of the character. Just
he's one of my favorite characters.
I know.
Yoda is like everything.
I know. That's
like saying I don't like Han Solo.
I know, but
Gabe. I know. I know.
Gabe.
Hey, Jordu. He likes Back to the Future 2 than Back to the Future 1. So
yeah, something's wrong with Gabe. He needs intervention.
You know what I'm saying? He likes Temple of Doom better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And he didn't see Alien until he was like fucking 48 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, look. Gabe, let me set you straight about Yoda.
Okay, all right.
We have to have a discussion about Yoda. We need to talk about Yoda.
Okay.
Way before midichlorians and all that bullshit that ruined your childhood, Yoda was the explainer of the Force, more so than Obi-Wan or anyone else. Yoda is the one that showed you the kind of holistic concept of the Force. The Force surrounds us between
It finds us.
you, the tree, that rock, and the ship. It's a unifying force in the universe. He explains it so gently and so intelligently. I mean,
So
what don't you like? What's not
look,
to
look,
like?
look. Let me explain myself here. All right. So first of all, I like the bad guys, right? I grew up like, oh, Darth Vader,
Fair
and
enough, fair
Cushing
enough.
and all that stuff. So that's first. Second of all, I think you also got to look at my age when Empire, when Empire and Jedi came out. I was still little, right? I was watching these on Betamax. I was watching these on VHS eventually, right? Because I was born in '81.
Did you see Empire Strikes Back when you were 41 or something?
No. I grew up with all of them. But no. But think about it as a kid. No. Think about it as a kid. You sit there and you watch.
I saw it as a kid. I was 12.
I know, but it gets put into the Yoda scene gets put into these two like crazy like battle like intense scenes, and so as a kid, I had the the ability to fast forward and push on the
Why would you fast forward? It's
because I would watch the
part of the whole Star Wars mythos.
I would watch the hot scene and then I would skip literally to like the Bespin towards like the more action packed stuff, and then I would watch
It was an attention.
and then I would watch Return of the Jedi. That was my go-to, right? Because
I loved the Ewoks.
I did. No, I did not like the Ewoks.
The fantasy element of Star Wars, to me, comes to its apex with this. You see, Star Wars is not science fiction; it's fantasy. Okay, its mythos is built on a fantasy structure, not a science fiction structure. The fantasy mood and feel of the Star Wars mythos is based almost entirely on the scenes with Yoda. And the things that Luke experiences, seeing him cut off his own head as his dad and all the shit, what'll be in there? Only what you take with you, It's amazing.
I mean, I appreciate what he does for obviously for the saga and all that, but as a character, like as a collector, right? Because that's you also got to put yourself like in. I'm a different type of breed of Star Wars fan. I'm a collector type of.
Yeah, you're a fucked up one, Gabe. I hate to tell you, brother.
Hey, Lee just messaged me and said Gabe's getting roasted.
I know. He said
I know. I mean, Gabe,
okay.
this is not a friendship ender, but it definitely makes me afraid for you to be around little kids or something. I don't know. Because Yoda is like so important. He's so important. He's such an amazing character. I remember reading an interview with Anthony Daniels.
Yeah.
And they were asking him about Star Wars 2, as they were calling it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, yes, there's actually a really wonderful new character we've got coming along in the new film. I can't really divulge anything, but he's a wonderful character that's mystical and amazing. And it really brings home the whole idea of Star Wars as fantasy. And I thought, wow, I wonder what that is. It was Yoda.
Yeah.
The most important character next to
Jordu,
Leia, Luke, and Han.
Gabe was just kidding. It's his favorite character.
No, it's not. No, it's okay. I can stand behind my look. Here's the thing.
Are you sure you want to stand behind that? That's like saying, I think Han Solo's gay. I don't like him.
Look, I appreciate him. Just like I appreciate Luke and Leia and Han, but they just weren't my, like, honestly, like growing up, those were just, I was not drawn to them. I was drawn to the stormtroopers, to Darth Vader, to the droids, to, you know what I mean? Like, and I get it. The storytelling part aside, I'm just talking about just the coolness factor of these characters.
Don't you think it's interesting that you're more drawn to evil than to good?
Yeah, I guess, but
Hey,
you know,
hey,
it's just,
Did you
Jordu,
cheer during 9/11? I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to get a bad impression. I mean, what the fuck, man? You don't like
Hey,
Yoda?
listen, Armando. Hey, Jordu, Armando wants
He's not
to
a real Star Wars fan.
I have Yoda's lightsaber. I have his
Yeah,
little,
let's-
lamp. I have Yoda things in my collection.
Gabe, you don't have to tell people. We know that you're a Star Wars fan.
I'm
but-
just.
But listen, but hey,
I don't know.
hey, Armando asked Jordu, "Do you like Mickey Mouse?"
No,
No.
I don't like Disney.
Yeah.
In fact, the fact that Disney owns Star Wars is a huge fuck up to me. It's,
Oh
it's
my
very
God,
bad. I don't like
We're gonna
that.
have to stop, dude, because I'm gonna have a. I'm gonna.
Michael's literally because he because he
I'm burning
knows.
the fuck up in
I-
here, dude.
Yeah, we're big Disney fans. We are.
Yeah.
We go to
Yeah.
Disneyland all the time and all that. I know, Jordan. I know. I'm disappointed. Look, the alien thing. I thought that was gonna be enough. Now it's the Yoda thing, and now
Honestly, all is forgiven because when it comes to taste, nobody knows what. You know, I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's got the things they like and the things they don't like. If you don't like Yoda, you're retarded, but that's okay. We'll accept you. You know, I mean, it's just you're obviously based in pure carbon evil. That's okay.
I didn't say I didn't like. I'm just saying he's just not. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. That's it.
So he's not your favorite character.
Yeah, there you go.
That's okay. You should have put it like that rather than I hate that little green
I
douchebag.
didn't say that. I said I'm not a fan. That's it.
All
I'm
right.
not a fan of. There's a couple of characters. I'm just like,
I think you better start divulging who you don't like now.
I'm not a big fan of Chewbacca either. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Michael.
Well, I mean, Chewbacca, interestingly enough, I think Chewbacca is one of these characters. He's a sidekick. He's not integral to the Star Wars story, really. He's a fun sidekick, and he's cute. He's a great foil for Han Solo, but he's not integral to the story like the princess or Yoda or Darth Vader. These characters really matter.
No.
Whereas Chewbacca could be replaced with any number of things and it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and see, there you go. I mean, look, I like the I like the droids. I'm really,
Has anyone ever done a model or a sculpture of that little frog-like creature that eats something outside of Jabba's palace at Twilight?
Not that I know.
yet.
I love that thing.
That thing is cool. Yeah.
Man.
I want you guys to start thinking of me. I wish Tom Spina would be in touch with me more because he and I could do stuff together. I would love to tackle some of these creatures for his companies.
Yeah.
Well, he
Definitely get in touch. Yeah. I mean,
he's going to be on Gabe's, and we got a panel, Gabe's panel. We're going to be on there, and Tom's going to be on there with us. So
because he's done so many of the really cool characters, and he's done beautiful replicas. He even did one of this little background alien that Rick Baker did. They painted it black for the movie. It just was a very simple alien with pointy ears.
Yeah. The little, like the one in the cantina, right?
Yeah, it's got like a bulby alien head.
Yeah.
I love that. And he did that one,
Yeah, he showed us. He has a bunch of the screen used ones. When he was on our show, he has them all behind him, and it's pretty crazy.
I would love to work for Tom Spina and do some stuff for him.
yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like me. I don't know. But anyway, the point is,
No.
not liking Yoda is a crime against humanity, but we'll deal with it. You guys have any further questions for me?
No, I was, I was due for a good roast.
A good roast. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you what, you take it like a freaking gentleman, though, Gabe.
Oh,
I would
no,
say so.
I
I
take
apologize.
no,
for
I,
being
I
so
want you to
hard
know.
on you.
No,
no.
Jordu,
I appreciate that. It makes me make sure that I stand behind my. Like say everyone's saying you're saying this right before celebration. I'm gonna get so much crap at this Star Wars convention.
Yeah, you better wear real stormtrooper armor because they can't
I'll
recognize
tell you
you.
what, though, this is hands down, Jordu, been one of my funnest, and we have done a crap ton.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
by the comments of the viewers, it's
How many listeners do you have?
we got like 3 or 4.
We have a little over 2,000 subscribers. So once it gets to it, I mean, it's not
It's a
crazy.
different
It's a very tight knit community of collectors, right? Collection wars, right? That's what we talk about. We talk about collectibles and collections, and yeah,
Well, can I just do a quick little plug?
of course, yes.
We're going to allow that.
If any of you guys are interested in seeing more of my work or watching how my life falls apart making this dumb shit, you can follow me on Instagram at Schell Sculpture Studio. That's SCHELL Sculpture Studio. I am Jordu Schell, or Jordouche, as some people like to call me. And go to my website, jorduschell.com, and you can see all my crap.
Buy my crap.
If you wanna ever commission me to make some weird out of the way alien, some guy contacted me quite a while ago to do we were never able to work out a deal, but he wanted Zuckus. Is that right?
Yeah.
Some creature called Zuckus, I think, with like sparkly eyes or something.
Yeah, with the glass eyes, yeah.
So I mean, I've gotten a lot of people who are interested in me recreating Star Wars stuff. If anyone out there wants a hammerhead, call me.
There you go. Yeah.
That's really cool.
If anyone wants a life-size Jabba the Hutt, don't call me.
Yeah, you can call Richard Riley because that guy does a badass job of that.
Now, I've got news for you.
Yeah.
That'll get my ass kicked in the next Star Wars celebration.
Yeah.
I don't like Jabba.
Yeah.
It looks fake. Fake.
Yeah.
So you didn't like that?
No. In fact, what's so tragic is in the making of Jedi, they show that line of maquettes, and there's one that looks like an old Chinese god with all these little
hands. Well, look at there's this one. But I don't have that one, but remember that scene where they show that?
That's
don't like it.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
yeah, the Chinese. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Get a job from Tom because it's his.
But I'm not saying I don't like that sculpture. I just don't like the creature. I just don't like the way that it looked in the final film. But that one with the multiple arms and the big mustache, I thought the Fu Manchu looking one was amazing. Why didn't they go with that one?
So our friend David, he does some sculpting, and in my humble opinion, I don't think he gives himself enough credit, but he's a fantastic artist. No. And he just asked if you could do a snaggletooth, and his snaggletooth is beautiful. So I don't know why he is so hard.
I think just a cast. Yeah, he needs help casting it. He needs.
He keeps changing the sculpture.
Where is he located?
He's in LA.
He's in LA.
He is.
Yeah. He's an animator. Yeah, he's an animator for.
Well, he can give me a call at my studio, and if he wants to have it molded, we could work something out. And he could bring it up, and if he's having trouble with the forms or something, I could show him a few things or whatever.
Very cool. Look at that, David.
Yeah, Snaggletooth. Yeah, that was in Jedi. No, Empire, right? He's a bounty hunter.
Star Wars.
He's Star Wars. Yeah, it's the little
He's a
little cantina creature that you see kind of in the background.
Can you pull up a picture of Snaggle too?
He's a little guy that's actually we could.
Oh, wait, with that little rat-like thing.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. Hold on.
He's
David
like,
says
give
that
me my drink. Give me my drink. That guy.
David said, yes, that guy. Yes. David just said that y'all are Facebook friends. So, Jordu.
Let me see. Now he's kind of just in the background, but I'll just pull him up really quick so you can see.
You're something else, Jordu. Man, I never knew you were going to hang out. So.
Oh, yeah. I get him confused with the Ugnaught. Go to this picture, the center picture on the top row, over to the right.
Yeah, yep, with the hair and stuff.
Yeah,
in the black,
all the way over to the right.
Yeah, the top center one, Gabe, right in the middle.
That one, right?
Nope.
Top center. Which one?
No, on the far right.
In the right, the black. That's all. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that one, right? No,
the Tom Smith.
No! We lost it again.
All right, top right. This one?
No.
This one.
Go to the one you just had. No.
We go down.
Now go down one. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, so the next time I'm talking to Gabe on the side, I'm like, hey, you want to get Jordu back on? He's going to be like, fuck, no.
Of course. No. This is the... Here you go.
Zutmore?
I don't know.
There's also... now, here's a really rare one for you. There is a creature that has never been named, as far as I know, that you see briefly in the shot when Luke says, geez, I only got 10 ducats or whatever for my land speeder.
Yeah.
And there's this big gobbly headed thing with eyeballs everywhere.
Yeah. I have him as a figure.
No, what's his name, Michael?
I don't remember.
I want to see that figure immediately.
Stand by. Be right back.
There you go. He'll bring it.
Because that thing looks like a $1.98 goofball monster.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they just threw that thing together at the last second.
Yeah. Oh man. No, this was very, very fun. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, I get roasted all the time for these. I'm late to the game with some of these movies.
But I mean, the fun of being nerds for all this shit is joking around and having a good time about it and being ridiculously offended about dumb crap. I mean, I don't care if you like Yoda or not. That doesn't affect anything at all in the world. But it's funny to tease you about,
I know.
Because I mean, it kind of is.
I can't find it. I can't find it.
What? What do you mean you can't find it?
Oh, wait, is that it? I've got. Oh yeah, I found it. Stand by. No, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Hang on.
Oh, weird. It was right next to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a wall of action figures, and I'm talking about a huge wall. And yeah, when I sat down, he was like waving at me. But yeah, this is him.
Yeah, that thing is horrifying. Can you take down the hood? I can't believe they made an action figure of that.
Yeah, this one was released in the 2000s. So yeah.
What's the name of that character?
I'm not real sure.
Oh, I got to know the name of it because I got to get my friend Daniel that, because Dan's a huge Star Wars fan. He pointed that thing out to me and said, that is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen.
He's got 4 eyes. He's got 4 eyes.
He would never believe that there was an action figure made of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Does anybody know, any of our watchers know the name of that?
Come on,
he's the guy. He's the salesman that sold the speeder to Luke Skywalker.
Oh, is it? Is that what his character?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, because Luke was walking away from him, going,
"Yeah,
hey man, I didn't get much money for my rod, man."
Yeah, he got screwed.
Oh man.
Do you guys know this place in Colorado called Faraway Creations?
You
guys should know them.
Yeah.
Faraway Creations does extraordinary replicas of Star Wars stuff. They have those awesome weird helmets that they wore on board the AT-ATs. You may start your landing now, Veda. Those guys, and the chest plates and everything.
Yeah.
They did a model of the little thing that the little thing that Luke is trying to fight with the blindfold on that keeps zapping him.
Yeah. The
Oh,
training.
actually, no, it's not that. It's not that. It's the bomb that Leia has when she's in disguise.
Oh yeah, the thermal detonator.
The thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the thermal detonator?
Now you're starting to piss off the viewers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean the thermal detonator? Well, I got news for you, buddy. They made $350,000 off of those things when they first released in 1978.
You know what? The greatest thing is that, obviously me and Michael do this show, and there's this whole community, and that's how my wife talks about all of us. Yeah. That same voice that you did, like, oh, all your nerd friends, what are you talking about, Star Wars? And I'm like,
well, see, the thing is, I'm as big a nerd as you guys for all this shit, because I know these characters and I'm into it and all that. But I'm making fun of myself as much as I'm making fun of anyone else, because when I start talking really deeply about all of it, there's a part of me that stands outside of myself and looks at me and going,
oh yeah,
nerd.
How did you ever fuck a girl?
Jordu, on us being serious for just a second, I think it was really interesting hearing your stories of not even the Spielberg stuff or the James Cameron. It's just your thoughts of these awesome films from the 70s and 80s. A lot of the viewers actually, it's funny too, because we believe it or not, we do have a really good following, and you can tell the certain, like Pete, he's always on my side of, we're the same era, and most Armando, I mean, we're always, thinking the same. And then you've got a different generation of thoughts of the way they experienced the films when they came out. Like when me and you were 10, I was 7, that feeling that we had when we saw Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was that feeling on Return of the Jedi for Gabe because of the time, you know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but
it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
But it's just a really fun community. These guys are all awesome. They're our friends, and we're getting ready to meet a lot of them at Celebration, and it's exciting.
But I mean, I'll close with this, I suppose. But the power of cinema is so galvanizing for so many people, and its impact on the modern world is immeasurable. Mm-hmm. Cinema's only 100 years old or so, which is a brand new art form when you think about it. Painting and sculpture have been around for thousands of years. Mm-hmm. And film is it's a baby in the scheme of human existence. Mm-hmm. And for cinema is so incredible. It moves us in a way that no other art form can, because it combines all of the disciplines: visual, music, photography, sculpture, painting. All these different disciplines come to the fore in a piece of good cinema. It's amazing, having worked in films, that any movies come out that are good at all, because it is such a madhouse behind the scenes. I mean, when I was talking about how much money gets wasted and how much time gets wasted and how many things go wrong, it's hard to believe that a great film like The Empire Strikes Back comes out.
Yeah.
With Yoda, for instance. But that so many people have been so deeply impacted by what people have imagined, I think is a beautiful thing. And I long live cinema, because good or bad, it takes you on a journey, and it fulfills a promise of some kind, which I'm too stupid to put into words, but it's like there's nothing like seeing a good movie. There's nothing quite like leaving the theater and going, wow, that was incredible.
Yeah.
And there's far too little of that. The last film that I left the theater going, oh my God, that was incredible, was a movie called The Witch, which came out maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a horror film. It was a masterpiece. It's one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen. But I mean, it was so meticulously put together. And when all that effort pays off and you have a masterful piece of cinema, you know, what could possibly be better? And they were doing it better than ever in the 70s and 80s.
I was getting ready to just say, Jordu, that what you said is fantastic. It's like a good song that comes out, you know, and it's just like there's no really originality anymore. I think the films, like you said, from the 70s and the 80s, and there's definitely good films in the 90s and 2000s, but it's few and far between, you know.
Well, most of it is remakes and sequels and reboots and crap based on comics that no one cares about anymore. And, you know, so when somebody comes along with something original, see, studios were willing to take chances back then.
Yeah.
In fact, Star Wars was a huge chance.
Yeah.
And somebody, Lucas had shopped it all over town, and they were like, no thanks. Some guy at Fox was like, all right, kid, don't fuck this up. We're going to give you $10 million to make your little movie.
Yeah.
Don't blow it. You know? So, I mean, taking those chances and doing something original and unique can change the world.
Yeah.
It can change people's minds and thoughts and visions and hopes. You know, I mean, cinema is an extraordinarily powerful tool.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Star Wars came out 45 fucking years ago, and we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
And we're still as into it as back then. I remember first hearing about it from Lisa. I mean, it was that impactful a thing.
That's cool.
And it stayed with American culture the whole way, 45 years. It's incredible.
Absolutely. No.
Well said, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I will say, one of our viewers, so when you're saying that I'm blowing you off, this is one of the things I'm blowing you off to. This one says, hey, bro, if you get the chance, I just wanted to tell Jordu that I recently finished watching his course on Stan Winston's website for painting and wanted to say thanks, and that I learned quite a bit. He's into the life-size characters and props, and he has a Tarkin from another, but he just wanted to say thank you. And we're actually, the Stan Winston people, I've already talked to them, and they were very excited to be on our show. We're just got to get the scheduling down, so we're looking forward to having them.
Yeah, they're great guys. Great guys.
Yeah.
Matt is an awesome guy. Matt Winston.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed my class, and I'm glad you learned a lot.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you so much for having me, guys. I had a blast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Definitely was. It has been one of my favorites as well, Michael.
Yeah, and
it was just a fun time, and
a lot of the guests, same thing. That's a big honor, Jordu. That says quite a bit.
Yeah,
we have had a history of really good guests on our show.
I'll bet you have.
Yeah.
So
have you had Phil Tippett?
We haven't had Phil, but who have we had, Gabe? When it comes to like who Jordu knows, we've had Don Post.
We've had
Who
Don
else?
Post. Yeah, we've had
Thatcher.
Kurt Thatcher. We got Kurt Thatcher.
Kirk Thatcher's awesome. He's a great guy. I
Yeah,
love Kirk.
Kirk. Tony McVeigh was on, but his video wasn't working very well, so he phoned in.
Tony McVeigh's brilliant. I really love his work.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen photos of the raw sculptures of the gremlins?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that he did some of those.
They are incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible pieces of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, thank you so much, Jordu. I mean, like I said,
absolutely. We've gone on for 2.5 hours.
I know. Early on, I was like, don't worry, it's only going to be an hour unless the conversation gets good. And apparently, the conversation got good. So
thanks for a really good roast on Gabe Jordu.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
I was getting ready to jump in because even though I thought it was fucking hilarious, it's my boy. And
I appreciate it 100%.
It's too bad that you're such good friends with Osama bin Laden, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The fact that you wake up every day and be you shows a lot of courage, and I really respect that. To wake up and know that you hate the most beloved character in cinema history, that's awesome. You keep being you. Don't let them tell you you're an idiot for not loving the greatest character in cinema history.
Yeah. Pete should have warned me. He said, "Why?" Pete says, "Why do I feel like I want to apologize?" Yeah, Pete, you're dude. You never told us.
No, not at all. I'm telling you, this is great.
I'm joshing you, Gabe.
You're
I'm joshing you.
I know. I know.
For sure.
And I still don't like Yoda, so it's okay.
Fucked up you are.
Well, Jordu, everybody knows who you are, and man, you're welcome. On a serious note,
Absolutely.
You're welcome on our channel anytime.
Anytime, yeah.
I really appreciate it, and I'd love to come back.
Yes, absolutely. And Jordu, I would definitely love to take you up on that offer next time I'm in LA to swing by and visit you.
Yes,
absolutely. And give me a call. There's Tarkin sitting here.
I know. I my wife. I know my wife just gotta make sure she's not listening.
I'll put it in the living room. Deal that even your wife can't refuse.
All right.
So your favorite character. Come on.
Look at this. Well, I'm actually a huge Hammer film fan. That's why Christopher Lee. I love those old. That's why when you were talking about the brain that wouldn't die, I love all those Ed Wood movies, like the old, like the B just shitty movies. I love them. And maybe there you go. That explains my lack of respect for Yoda.
Jordy, real quick.
No.
Have you heard of the movie? Just real quick, Laser Blast.
I love Laser Blast.
I freaking love Laser Blast. It's the cheesiest movie ever.
Laser Blast takes me back to better times.
Yeah,
I love Laser Blast. Laser Blast actually. It makes reference to Star Wars because there's a Star Wars billboard in one scene.
And they blow it up.
It came out the same year. It's so weird.
It was.
I love Laser
George
Blast.
Lucas thought about that.
I worked for a guy named Dave Allen who worked on those creatures for Laser Blast. He was the nicest guy. He died of cancer quite a while ago.
I would love to have one of those.
Somebody out there has a mold of those things somewhere.
Man, that's something
I don't know who it is
about. In my theater room, I've got the poster, and I love Laser. I remember as a kid, it's cool because he's in that van, this little alien dude, and this guy's driving in the hippie van and looks over, and he turns himself into a monster, and he takes that laser gun. And there's a big billboard of Star Wars, and he just shoots and blows the Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's a hilarious scene.
I will say this. Laser Blast might be low budget and cheeseball, but the concept of the story idea is brilliant.
Yeah, it was
the idea that some kid finds an alien weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it takes over. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, it's available on DVD if y'all even care. Blu-ray, probably.
I haven't seen it, so that's going to be next on my list.
I know, Gabe, but the fact that you haven't seen that, that's not a big deal. But yeah,
Well, let's not let him off the hook that easy.
I know.
I didn't see Alien until 10 minutes ago. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is
Hey,
true.
Jordu. So when we get off here, make sure you stand by so we can just wrap up on a few personally. So
right.
don't hang up when we get off there. So just stand by. But I
Cool.
just wanted to say before Gabe, Jordu, you're awesome, very
I
talented.
appreciate you guys having me. I really do.
Yep. And,
No matter what movies or characters you don't like.
Yeah. And to all of our viewers, our friends, the ones that are going to Celebration, I can't wait to meet all you guys in person. Yeah. The ones that aren't, thank you guys for being so faithful to Collection Wars. You guys are truly our friends. So thank you so much. Gabe, you know I love you like a brother, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. And thank you, Jordu, for taking some time.
I love you too, Gabe, like I love Yoda.
That's a very big compliment. Right?
Yeah, it is. Because he loves him, right?
I hope you love me more than you love Yoda.
I do. Absolutely. Much more.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good night, and we'll see you at Celebration. Right, Michael? Next time? Yeah. So we'll see you guys then.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Good night.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.